Hey, greeting and welcome to a captivating session of Technical Talk with Brijesh. I am Brijesh, and today's goal is to provide you with a concise overview of both Flyway and Entity Framework. In our upcoming videos, we will deep dive into the Flyway and showcase you how to seamlessly integrate it with .NET Core, and also we can demonstrate like how you can use Entity Framework and Flyway together in .NET Core application. However, in this session, you will get a very high level understanding on Flyway and Entity Framework. As you can see on my screen, I already created and noted down a couple of points what I'm going to discuss as a part of this video, where I'm going to talk about Flyway and Entity Framework. Okay, so I added some bullet points here. You can see the purpose and focus, functionality, uses, workflow, and environment. Okay, so first we'll discuss about purpose and focus. So Flyway is basically a migration tool, okay, that is used to manage a database schema versioning. On the other hand, entity framework is object relationship mapping that allow developer to focus on class and object. In terms of functionality, you can see here in the Flyway we provide a version migration script, as you can see here, right? So whenever we are designing any project from the scratch and all, so what we are doing actually, so first we design database schema, right? So we can say version 1 initialize schema. So that is the one script is there. Okay, one developer is working on some, adding user table, one is working on order table and all. So everybody is working on some table, some stored procedure and all. So they always create a version, right? So for example, start from view version 1, version 2, version 3, and there's a set of like predefined naming convention what we can decide here. Okay, this is the way how we can do this and give some meaningful name here what you are doing as a part of this script. Okay, so this is the way how you can maintain the versioning, and then you can run some script for the migration. Okay, in entity framework what happening here, we are mapping the object and database object to the database table. So here entity framework, it depends on like what approach you are going to do. So some guys, they guys say DB first approach. Okay, some guys use code first approach. Okay, so it totally depends on what you are going to adopt. You are creating the entity first, and then you are creating the table based on entities. And some guys, okay, they create the table, and from the table, right, they create the entity. Okay, in uses, so here in Flyway, right, we need to ensure the consistency of database structure across all the environment. And here in entity framework, the main use of to simplify the data access between app code and database. Okay, and it is more suitable for the scenario where developer want to work with object entity directly in their code without worrying about underlying any SQL and all. Okay, when you talk about the workflow, so here what happening when we create a SQL migration script that represent the changes that what I showcase you here. Okay, and in entity framework they define the class just like this. You can say we define the class is like that, and then we have some migration commands are there where you can use add migration, update migration and all. So these migration commands are there that is used to apply the changes, and accordingly we can create or update database side. And when we talk about the environment, as I said before, it is used to manage a database schema changes. That is the primary goal for this Flyway. But entity framework, that is again simplify your data access layer. Okay, so this is the basic concept, like what is the purpose, functionality and uses, workflow environment for the Flyway and entity framework. Now we can talk about what to choose actually. We need to choose Flyway or entity framework. Again, Flyway focus on migration and versioning database schema changes, whereas entity framework is ORM framework that simplifies your database interaction by allowing developer to work with object oriented entity. And choice between Flyway and entity framework depends on your project and your use case, whether you need to manage database schema changes across environment or you want to simplify data access using object oriented programming. Some cases we are using both in the same project, like Flyway and Entity Framework, both come together in the same project. So again, it totally depends on the use case, your architecture design, what we are going to use and how you are going to use it. Okay, so we can deep dive Flyway in my next session, where you can, I will showcase you, right, how you can integrate Flyway with .NET Core and how you can use Entity Framework Flyway together in .NET Core application. So see you next video. Until then, embrace the joy of learning.